Hey guys, so today I was in Matthew 12 and Mark 3 and Luke something. Looks like Luke 5 or Luke 6, sorry. And what really stuck out to me as I was reading was in Matthew 12:34, Jesus, so starting in verse 33, says, either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad, for the tree is known by its fruit. You brood of vipers. He's talking to the Pharisees here. He says, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. And what really stuck out to me here was his use of the word viper. So this reminded me of in Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, there's actually 3 different words that he uses to describe snakes. And the most common one is nahash, which is the word for like the serpent, right? So in Genesis 3, you have the serpent that comes into the garden and deceives mankind. But then you also have, there are other kinds of snakes, right? Such as, it's translated usually cobra or adder, viper, etc. And so these other 2 words are used to describe actual snakes, like real creatures that live on our earth. And so what's interesting is that whenever Isaiah is talking about like the evil snake, right, the serpent, the source of evil and discord, like he is talking about a nahash, and he uses the word nahash. But when he talks about creatures, the actual cobras and adders, we see that in Isaiah 11, where he's describing this new creation, this messianic kingdom that's coming, and it's explicitly described as the messianic kingdom, and it's kind of ambiguous, but then once you get to the end of the book, you realize Isaiah 65, similar words are used to describe the new creation. You realize, okay, so the messianic kingdom is the new creation, right? And so even now in the overlap of the new and the old, we're building the kingdom of God. This messianic kingdom is coming, and it's just that one day when the fullness of the divine kingdom comes, when heaven meets earth, like a sloppy wet kiss, that we are going to experience all of that. But in the meantime, we're still waiting, right? And so what it says is that in this messianic, this new kingdom, there will be cobras and adders that will be around kids, right? So like the kids will stick their hands in the den of the cobra and play with the adder, and it'll be fine. There will be no death, no decay, no mourning, no fear, no sin on God's holy mountain in his presence, in the kingdom of God. And what's interesting is that Jesus's use of the word vipers here, when you look at it in, I forget what it is in Greek, but when you transliterate that Greek word back into Hebrew, it's chatsiphonim. And so chatsiphonim means the vipers or the serpents, right? The snakes, rather, not serpent. And so it's different from the word nahash used for the evil one, right? And so he's calling them vipers, which is a type of snake, but it's actually translated adder in Isaiah, in that passage that I was talking about, where the adder will, play with the kid, or the kid rather with the adder. And so Jesus, I think, is intentionally using this word that they would recognize as being associated with Isaiah 11, associated with the kingdom of God. And he's saying that in your present state, right, you are acting out of the evil, the most deadly, scary, unholy parts of the snake. That's what you're identifying with now. But you have the choice to choose me, to seek me, to find me, and to find the goodness and the truth and the life that is found only in me. And if you do that, you will be a part of my kingdom, and you will not be dangerous. You will not be venomous or poisonous anymore. You will have a new life and a new purpose, and you will be able to play with kids and not have any dangers at all, metaphorically speaking, obviously. And so there's this beautiful, I think, this reality that Jesus is not just condemning them, but he's calling them up and saying, live to your full purpose, live to who you truly are made to be. The Pharisees in and of themselves, they have good morals. They have good reasons for doing what they're doing, but they're missing the whole point. And that's what Jesus is calling them to, is to say, hey, I am the point. If you come to me, you will find rest and you will find freedom, just like those adders and those cobras in the Old Testament, just like those creatures. They find their hope and their life in me. You can do the same. So come to me, because in my presence, there are slithery saints.